What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your boy StephenMotivate back again with another episode of The Journey. Happy to talk to you today about five money mindset principles that you're going to need if you're going to change your financial position, build a firm financial foundation, or really feel your freedom as it relates to your finances. And so I know a lot of people get scared when it comes to money, and they don't want to talk about it because it makes them uneasy, or they don't feel like they have enough. And I just want to hit it head on with you. I want to be your little brother or your big brother or your friend that will help you understand and think through what are the things I need to have in my mind if I'm going to reach my financial goals. So here are the things, 5 things. And then I want you to stick around at the end, and I'll give you one more bonus tip just to help you throughout. So let's get right into it. So number 1, you've got to have an abundance mindset. The abundant mindset over the scarcity mindset is going to set you up on a path that will produce wealth for you and your family. You've got to start thinking abundantly. And this isn't natural for many people that grew up poor, because you've always thought about how much you don't have, how much you have to kind of hold on to what you do have, and sort of this tight fist mentality. But if you think about it, the more you think abundantly, the more abundant things will happen to you and for you. So let me give you an example of an abundant mindset. Right? So let's say you go for a job and the interview goes well. Typically, a person would go back and they'd say, I don't know how I did. I'm nervous about it. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't like how I answered that question. Typically, you frame your mind around the negative. And what it does is it limits your mind to think, I may not get the job. I don't know if I even deserve the job. I don't know if I'm worthy of the job. I don't even think I could do well. And that's a scarce mindset. An abundant mindset would say, hey, we would reframe the entire interview. Even if it didn't go that well, you still would say, I'm looking forward to hearing back. You're expecting to hear back. You're joyful. You are optimistic about hearing back. You consider the fact that, hey, even if I don't get the job, I can learn from this interviewee or this interviewer. They can teach me some things about what I could do possibly to get the next job, because more jobs are coming my way. Jobs are not a limited resource. Jobs are not hard to come by. I can get a job. I'm worthy of a job. I will get a job. These things, this thinking is all abundant. Even again, if you did not do that well in the interview, you still got to think abundantly about you and your opportunities. You have to think abundantly about what's available to you. And reframing is a good trick on how you do that and how you do it well. The more you do that, the more you have an abundant mindset, the more opportunities actually do come to you. The more things happen for you. I can't even tell you the amount of opportunities and people that I've met in the last 4 to 5 months, simply because I have an abundant mindset. And so what someone might say, hey, you've got a small little YouTube channel and you only have so many views, and I'm not sure it's working out. I'm not sure the effort's worth it. I don't see it that way. I see it as, wow, I get a chance at the beginning stages to have these small building blocks, and I get to grow incrementally every day. I'm going to get a new subscriber. Probably by the time you watch this or your friends watch it, I'll have another subscriber. So I'm treating everything as a gift, as abundance. There's more coming my way. And you've got to start doing that for yourself. You have to think abundantly. If you don't, if you think scarcity, if you think small, that's what you will get. If you think abundantly, that's what you will get. Opportunities will flow to you the more you believe you're worthy of opportunities. Not even just worthy of them, but it's just like, duh, I get opportunities. Duh, good things happen to me. I'm talented. I'm smart. I'm a doer. I get things done. I take my work seriously. And so good things happen to me because that. So it's all about having an abundant mindset. I hope that helps you. And we'll dive into that more in other videos. But the second thing, we got to keep going. The second thing I want you to focus on, if you're really going to have a wealthy mindset, is you've got to focus on, as a principle, you've got to focus on assets and not just income. Assets and not just income. We know this because we've seen it with professional athletes. They have big incomes, but right when their contract's in, they go broke. Why is that? Because they were so focused on the income, the money that was coming in, they never thought to put it in a place where it would last and grow forever. We've talked about this before. Wealthy people see money as a seed. They plant the seed so it turns into more money. So you need to focus on assets, not just income. Let's say you have an income from your job. Oh, I'm going to be making $50,000 a year. That's great. But what portion of that $50,000 are you going to put into assets? What are assets? Assets are things that grow in value over time. They make you money. They don't cost you money. That's what an asset is. So it doesn't have to be your normal definition. If this chair that's sitting here, that I'm sitting in, if more people come and sit in this chair and they pay me $1 to sit in this chair, every person, then this chair becomes an asset. If this chair makes me no money and it loses value over time and it starts to wear and it starts to wrinkle and it starts to break, that's a liability, right? So we want to focus on assets. We want to focus on things that produce us income over time, produce us not just income, but produce us value over time, right? Income is what you get compensated for a job or something that you do. An asset is outside of income. An asset grows in value regardless. A piece of real estate traditionally, typically grows in value over time. That's typically what happens with a piece of real estate. The stock market, your stock investments represent ownership in a company. Those typically grow over time. Precious metals, gold, silver, these things, they typically grow over time, right? And so you have to think about not just an income. Don't be blinded by a big income. Oh, that person got paid $2 million. But if they spent $2 million, they're back down to nothing. They've got to put that income towards assets. So a wealthy principle is to focus on assets, not just income. Awesome. All right. Number 3, wealth principle number 3. The power of compound growth. So we've talked about this a little bit before, but it is so important that you understand that time is your greatest ally as it relates to building wealth. And wealthy people know this. Wealthy people understand that consistent, small efforts, consistent and small, consistent and small. It doesn't have to be big. That's the trick. A poor mindset is, oh, I got to hit the lottery. You got to make this big, huge leap. That's a poor mindset because the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. But the likelihood that you can put $1 away every day, $10 a day every week, $30 a day every month, 50, 60, small steps consistently. Consistent and small over time leads to massive growth in the long term, leads to massive wealth long term. Time is your greatest ally when you're thinking wealthy, when you're thinking like the wealthy do, when you have a wealthy mindset, right? And we talk about this a lot on Wealthy Thoughts. Like, check out some of our talks there where you can see us really diving in to how being consistent over time will help you produce those massive results that we all want. Number 4, you've got to take calculated risks. Wealthy people embrace calculated risks. Okay, let me see. If I do this, if I do that, I was telling you about the warehouse earlier, right? I have an abundant mindset around that. It's a risk, but it's calculated. I have an idea of what I can do to actually bring that to full strength and to really grow in that new space, right? And so I'm thinking about, okay, if I do X, Y, Z, so planning is important. I don't want you to think that, it's all, just fluff. Like, oh, just talk to yourself in the mirror. No, not just talk to yourself in the mirror, and also go create some plans and then put those plans into action. All 3 are important, because if you don't talk to yourself in the mirror, then you don't even have the mindset to go write the plans. And if you don't write the plans, then you really don't have a detailed outlook as to what you're attempting to do. And then if you don't go do the thing, then you never know if your plans were valid or not, and you never get that real life feedback as to what you should be doing. The best thing that a lemonade stand operator can do is serve lemonade, to actually do the thing. The best thing that a basketball player can do, play basketball. The best thing that a filmmaker can do, film. Because as you do the thing, you learn more about the thing, and you make adjustments and you improve. It's just like a child, just like walking, just like talking. You got to start talking in order to perfect it, right? You have to do the thing, but it starts with having a plan. And when you've got a plan, you're making calculated risks, and you start to embrace that. Okay. Let me see here. All right, if I do this and I do that, I know this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. Well, wealthy people step out of their comfort zone. Wealthy people do things that are uncomfortable. In fact, all growth happens in places where you're uncomfortable. So becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable is a necessary part of the mindset. But you don't take reckless risks. You take calculated risks. I don't want you to think that people are just out here just doing stuff recklessly. No, that would be foolish. And no one's endorsing foolishness. What we are endorsing is that you take time to calculate the risks. Okay, if I add this, if I put $5 here and I put $50 in my investment account, what is the probability that the $50 I put in my investment account will build wealth for me more than leaving it in my low earning interest rate savings account that I've had since I was 20? If you calculate the risk, you'll soon find out that if I put the 50 in the right place, that 50 will grow much faster than if I leave it in my bank account. If I leave it in my savings, or if I leave it in my checking. Some of you are sitting around with massive amounts of money in the bank, and it's the wrong thing to be doing. You have not calculated the risks associated with that. Now, a wealthy person will calculate the risks and take a large portion of that and put it where it should be, in a place where it can grow, and it can grow massively, right? So calculate the risks. I really want you to think about that and really take it personal that I shouldn't have a lot of my money sitting in the wrong place, right? I've got to put it in the right place. Number 5, surround yourself. Surround yourself with wealthy-minded people. People like me. People like this. And if you can't get to us physically, go online. Look at the Anthony O'Neills. Look at the EYL, the Earn Your Leisure. Look at Nisha. She's an online content creator who quit her job and is doing really good. But these people talk about wealth. They talk about making good decisions as it relates to wealth. You have to surround yourself, whether you can do it physically or not, you do it virtually. whatever you got to do, surround yourself with the right type of people. That's the only way this is going to get reinforced. That's the only way this is going to become applicable and really you'll make it a part of your life. If you stick around people that don't have a wealthy mindset, you will, in fact, not become wealthy. It is just about impossible. And if you do get any sort of wealth, you're likely going to lose it. Or they will lose it. Your friends or the next generation will lose it if you don't cultivate a mindset of people who are talking about these things. Don't let your friends have conversations without talking about, hey, are you investing? Don't let your friends talk about wasting more money and you don't say, hey, have you thought about buying a house? Don't let your friends go to the dealership and get ripped off again. Hey, have you thought about buying that car cash? We've got to get around wealthy-minded people. And it changes all of your money stress, all of your money worries if you get around the right type of people. And sometimes you have to make an investment to get around the right type of people. Buy their book, go to the conference, get around other people that want to progress, that want to develop, that want to improve their life. The impact of being in the right circles is enormous. So those are my 5 most important wealth principles. I hope that stuck with you, and I hope that you got something out of that. The last thing I'd say, and this is a bonus tip, if you lasted this far in the video, is to never stop learning. Never stop learning. Never, never, never stop learning. Wealthy people are learners. They learn, they read, they figure out what's going on in the world. They're not just stuck on social media being entertained 24. If you look at their social media, there's somebody on there that's teaching them something, that they're learning. So you've got to keep learning. That appetite for learning. Do not lose your appetite for learning. Don't think you already know. Don't cut the video off because, I already know that. You don't know what piece of information you may be missing simply because you think you already know it. If you would just be patient enough to continue to learn and be taught, the appetite for learning that you have can continue to be cultivated, and you'll learn new tricks before others. You'll learn new ways before others. You'll be on new routes. You'll get to destinations quicker simply because you were willing to learn. So never stop learning. Look, those are my wealth principles. If you want a wealthy mindset, you've got to tap into those principles. Those are my biggest wealth principles. If you do that, I can guarantee you, you're on the road to wealth. Until next time, this is your boy, StephenMotivate. Stay motivated. Peace.